Shavkat Rakhmonov will face undefeated Irishman Ian Garry at UFC 310 on December 7. No match comes in with a record of 18-0 while Garry is 15-0. Shavkat is ranked 3rd while the Irishman is currently 7th. There was a time when the fighters trained together at the Killcliff gym and sparred multiple times. Now they will clash in a 5-round contender fight for the chance to complete for championship title against Muhammad. In this video we'll break down the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel as we are aiming for 10,000 subscribers. Thank you. Shavkat Rakhmonov is the current UFC fighter in the welterweight division, ranked 3rd, and is one of the top contenders for the title. He has a professional record of 18-0 with all 18 of his fights ending early, 8 knockouts and 10 submissions. He has fought 6 UFC matches, finishing all of his opponents. None of the 6 opponents were debutants, and Shavkat has faced seasoned Brazilian fighters. In his first 2 fights, his opponents were Alex Oliveira, Brazilian Cowboy, and Michel Prazeres, who had fought top fighters like Gilbert Burns and Mairbek Taisumov. Shavkat submitted Oliveira with a guillotine in the first round and Prazeres with a rear naked choke in the second. His next opponent was another prospect, Carlston Harris, who fell to Shavkat's spinning kick in the first round. After that, Shavkat moved up to 15th in the rankings and faced the gatekeeper Neil Magny. He defeated Magny in the second round by submission via guillotine. Shavkat then faced Jeff Neal, the best boxer in the UFC welterweight division, ranked 6th. It was a competitive bout, with Neal even wobbling Shavkat in the 3rd round. However, Shavkat eventually rocked Neal with a knockdown and finished him with a rear naked choke late in the fight. His most recent fight was against Steven Wonderboy Thompson in December 2023. Despite an injured shin, Shavkat used a grappling-heavy approach, where he submitted Thompson in the 2nd round after dominating him on the ground. This victory moved Shavkat to 3rd in the rankings. Initially, Shavkat was supposed to face Belal Muhammad for the title shot, but due to an injury to Muhammad, the fight with Garry was booked. Ian Machado Garry is ranked 7th in the UFC's welterweight division. Representing Ireland, Garry considers himself the heir to Conor McGregor's legacy. At 27 years old, he stands at 121 cm old with a reach of 121 cm as well. His professional record is 15-0 with 7 knockouts, 1 submission and 7 decisions. Garry began his career in 2019, fighting in Cage Warriors before joining the UFC in 2021. He secured 7 wins in Cage Warriors with 4 knockouts and 1 submission. Garry made his debut in November 2021, knocking out Jordan Williams in the 1st round. In April 2022, Garry won a decision over Darian Wick. 3 months later, he defeated Gabriel Green by decision. In March 2023, Garry fought Son Kenan, and despite being rocked briefly, he recovered to score a knockout in the 3rd round. 2 months later, Garry knocked out Daniel Rodriguez with a brutal head kick in the 1st round. In August 2023, Garry dominated Neil Magny for 3 rounds and won a unanimous decision. In February 2024, Garry fought Jeff Neal, winning a split decision in a close contest. His last fight was in June 2024, where he faced high-level striker Michael Venom Page. So expected to engage in a striking war, Garry surprised everyone by showing his grappling skills and won by unanimous decision. Initially, Garry was scheduled to fight Joaquin Buckley on December 14, but the UFC moved him to this fight against Shavkat. Striking. In this aspect, I give the edge to Rakhmonov. Shavkat possesses a high level of striking with a diverse arsenal of strikes, including kicks, elbows, spinning kicks and powerful punches. Garry is also skilled with solid punches and kicks, including devastating head kicks. However, Garry tends to avoid trading blows with tough opponents. Against Jeff Neal, Garry worked as a counter-fighter, avoiding direct exchanges, and against Michael Page, he opted to grapple instead of striking. Shavkat, on the other hand, Shavkat is comfortable in a striking battle with high-level fighters as seen in his fight with Jeff Neal. I believe Shavkat will press forward while Garry will work on the back foot. Wrestling and Jiu-Jitsu. Rakhmonov clearly has the advantage. While Shavkat is not a professional wrestler, his grappling and submission skills are exceptional. He has great takedowns and his submission techniques are so tight that opponents often tap even when there are only a few seconds left. Garry has shown decent wrestling, especially in his last fight, but his submission game is lacking. He couldn't submit a grappling novice like Page even when he had his back. Garry's takedowns were somewhat awkward, and against high-level competition his grappling may not be as effective. Cardio. I give the edge to Garry. Although Garry is known as a knockout artist, half of his wins have come by decision, and one of them was a fight-round fight. Rakhmonov, on the other hand, has never gone the distance in his professional career, so his cardio remains untested. Experience in the position. Surprisingly, Rakhmonov has more experience against top-level competition. While Garry has had 8 UFC fights, his toughest opponents have been Neil Magny, Jeff Neal and Michael Page. Rakhmonov, however, fought experienced fighters even before joining the UFC, including Fardun Adilov and Ganjimurad Hirmagomedov. Motivation. I consider this aspect to be equal. Both fighters are young and undefeated. The winner of this fight will certainly secure a title shot. Prediction. I see a decisive win for Shavkat Rakhmonov by submission in the first round. The first round will likely be a feeling out process, with both fighters exchanging strikes from a distance. By the end of the round, Shavkat will likely take Garry to the ground. In the second round, Rakhmonov will control the action on the mat, while the third round will be a back-and-forth striking battle. Ultimately, in the fourth round, Shavkat will lock in a submission, securing the victory. That's all for this breakdown. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment with 4 words and subscribe so you don't miss our next videos. Let us know in the comments which fight analysis you want to see next. See you soon in our upcoming videos.